This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. The January 6th Select Committee is investigating the events of January 6th, shockingly. The insurrection, the attempted overthrow of the United States government, the attempted overturning of a free and fair election, the interference with a constitutionally prescribed event to certify the Electoral College results, the damaging of the United States Capitol, the injuring of over 150 police officers, some of whom lost fingers, eyes gouged. People died. It's a serious event that needs to be investigated. It needs to be taken seriously by Congress, not only to protect themselves, not only to find out what took place and what led to it, but in order that they secure the buttresses of the building, to allocate money to defend the Capitol against it happening again, to invest in an intelligence infrastructure surrounding these events, to make certain that they're on top of it if it is to happen again. There's all kinds of reason to have the January 6th Select Committee. It is not political retribution. It is to get to the bottom of a crime, the members of Congress of which were victims, along with the police officers and the staff members and the family members who were there that day. They are all victims of a crime. And certain members of Congress, who likely have something to hide, have written a letter. I hold in my hands a letter from Andy Biggs, Matt Gaetz, Scott Perry, Louie Gohmert, Jim Banks, Jody Hice, Lauren Boebert, and Paul A. Gosar, DDS. He's a dentist. And they have written a letter to President and Chief Executive Officer of Yahoo relative to the subpoenas being issued by the Select Committee. Now, like with anything the Republicans do, they botched it because they're morons. They addressed the letter to Marissa Mayer, President and Chief Executive Officer of Yahoo, but Marissa Mayer hasn't been CEO of Yahoo since Verizon bought him out back in 2017. Seriously, everything they do is just half-assed enough to be laughable. And that is the case with this. And I'm going to read this letter, share the screen with you as I read this letter, because they have something to hide. Dear Mrs. Mayer, dear Miss Mayer, you are receiving this letter because news reports indicate that your company, that you're not CEO of anymore, that your company received a request to turn over your client's private and confidential data to Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives. The United States Congress has a significant and important oversight power to secure needed information in order to legislate. However, Congress has no enumerated constitutional power to conduct investigations or issue subpoenas. Well, that is not true. The Congress clearly has the authority to issue subpoenas. Otherwise, how would Republicans have gotten anything done relative to their obstructionist ways when they investigate Benghazi or any other happening? Congress does have the authority to investigate. The Supreme Court has held, because of what I've talked about just a few minutes ago, about investigating things in order to enact legislation. How can they write laws if they don't have the ability to investigate and compel testimony? Dipshits. As the Supreme Court clearly held, recipients of legislative subpoenas retain their constitutional rights through the course of an investigation. This right includes the ability of individuals to challenge the collection and release of their private telecommunication records before Congress obtains and publishes the subpoena documents. What are they so afraid of being in their in their phone records. Listen, I've seen some pushback. I've gotten emails about it that, this is kind of a bad argument, that just because they don't want the records released doesn't mean they have something to hide, that we all have a Fourth Amendment right under the Constitution of the United States to protect us against illegal search and seizure. That is all true, but this is not an illegal search or seizure. This is a legal subpoena to compel documentation from members. And by the way, they might not be, we don't know right now, but they may not be inquiring about these specific records. This may be individual rioters, individual insurrectionists who happen to talk to these individuals. And as an ancillary, we're going to find out what they said, these congressmen and women, because they were communicating with actual insurrectionists. That could very well be the case. Select Committee Chairman Benny Thompson made an obvious admission in the letters he has sent to each telecommunication and social media company demanding they preserve individual records. He is clearly aware he lacks the authority to rifle through the private data of individuals. He states, quote, "If you are not able or willing to respond to this request without alerting the subscribers or the accounts, please contact the Select Committee prior to proceeding," unquote. Chairman Thompson is asking your company to participate in surreptitious and legally dubious surveillance of members of Congress. Chairman Thompson's request may ultimately prove illegal, but unlike you, he is a sitting member of Congress and is shielded from legal repercussions by the Constitution's speech and debate clause while acting in his official capacity. This is a threat. And this last paragraph, it will cement it, that this is a threat that, listen, when we're back in power, we're going to come for you. If you follow along with the law and you abide by these subpoenas, you comply with these legally issued subpoenas, we're going to gun for you. We're going to make life hard for you. That's what they're doing here. As you are aware, your company has a legal obligation to protect the data of your subscribers and customers, and we are confident that you will follow the law and not disclose their private and confidential records without a legal order to do so, i.e. subpoena, dumb shits. Section 222 of the Communications Act and Electronic Communications Privacy Act both protect the privacy and confidentiality of these records and data, and they prohibit the unlawful disclosure of this information. If you fail to comply with these obligations, we will pursue all legal remedies. Please be advised that the undersigned do not consent. Like this statement matters. Please be advised that the undersigned do not consent to the release of confidential call records or data. Tell a court that. I just want to let you know, grand jury, that I don't comply. I'm not going to allow you to take my records. And this is Andy Biggs again, Matt Gaetz, Scott Perry. These knuckleheads here, Lauren Boebert, shocked to see that Marjorie Taylor Greene's name is not on this letter. Listen, the Congress has an absolute, not just a duty or an obligation, but they absolutely have legal authority to do what they're doing, to secure the United States Capitol, to ensure that it is a safe place for constituents to come, that it is not a hotbed for violence and insurrection on any given day of the week. They need to protect the country from this happening again. And in order to do so, we need to know the root of it, how it was planned, how it was carried out, the aftermath, the attempted cover-up. And we need to know who had a role in it, whether it be a member of Congress who has immunity under the speech and debate clause or not. And the fact that they are fighting so hard. Listen, it's one thing to say, no, they don't have a right to go into my phone records. That's one thing. But when you start leveling threats and acting in this deranged manner, it's a completely different thing. Especially this group of idiots, this group of anti-American Trump bootlicking sycophants who will do anything to get their golden god, emperor, king back in office. What do you think, though? Call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. Follow me on social media. I'd love to connect with you there. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And if I bring you value, if not, you just enjoy watching the videos once in a while, that's fine. It's always going to be free. But if I bring you value, I would ask that you consider supporting my work here on the platform for $1.99 a month. As little as $2 a month, you can help support my work. You can also go over to, if you're not interested in becoming a channel member here, you can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast and help produce my work over there. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.